Controversial statement. Gimbals are dead and the GoPro Hero 7 Black killed them. And the question I want to answer today is, has GoPro created the perfect action camera? Let's find out. What's up everyone, I'm the Everyday Dad, and if I can figure it out, you can figure it out. I love action cameras, no kidding. They are hands down my favorite piece of gear, tech, kit, whatever you want to call it. I cannot get enough of them. That's probably why I have like 12 around the house. Now, love them or hate them, GoPro not only created the market, they also remain the most well-known of all the action camera brands. There is a reason that everything is compared against them. Now, I've had a rocky relationships with GoPro, starting with the Hero 5. The very first camera review we ever did on this channel was the GoPro Hero 5 Black, and I was very disappointed in both the video quality and definitely the audio quality. Then when the Hero 6 came out, I basically complained about it for 6 months because it had problems with it not properly recording to my SD card, even in 1080p, losing huge chunks of my footage, and generally being a huge pain in the butt to use. But now GoPro is going back to its roots, releasing a series of cameras in their Hero 7 line. As stabilization is one of my favorite things of all time, we are definitely going to try out the Hero 7 Black today because the biggest selling point of the Hero 7 Black is their hyper smooth stabilization. But before we get too far into the video, let's cover the basic specs of the Hero 7 to get us all on the same page. Quick disclaimer, I'm not a videographer, I'm not a photographer. I just make home videos and I make YouTube videos, so those are the specs that we're gonna cover today because these will be the most important specs for an online content creator, which is, you know, who I'm trying to talk to. The GoPro Hero 7 Black can record 4K video at up to 60 frames per second, 2.7K at 120 frames per second, and 1080p at up to 240 frames per second. It can capture 12 megapixel photos. It can do hyper smooth video stabilization, which I cannot wait to talk about more here in the future. It is waterproof down to 33 feet without any kind of housing, and the back LCD is a 2-inch touchscreen. Physically, this is the exact same housing we've seen for the last 2 years with the GoPro, starting with the Hero 5 Black. And that is definitely not a bad thing. This is without a doubt the best overall case design for action cameras. Like I already mentioned, it is waterproof without a case down to 33 feet, and where this really shines is when you're out and about doing action type sports. You know, I'm partial to mountain biking, but you don't have to worry about it. You know, more on this subject later. But my favorite part about this action camera is it looks so different. I mean, it drove me crazy when I went from the Hero 5, the Hero 2018, and the Hero 6. They all actually look so similar, I never actually knew which one I was grabbing. But look at that, it has a big old 7 on the side, so you can tell which one you're grabbing. I like that. If you've had a GoPro in the last few years, you will not notice much different physically. The real difference, besides all the recording differences, is the touchscreen interface is a little bit differently, but we'll cover this in a category of something here in just a second. And enough of saying how great this thing might be, we actually have no idea. It could be total garbage. We don't know. We're gonna find out today because there are 5 things that an action camera has to do to be considered an actual action camera for me, and it's time to see how many of the pillars of action are holding up the GoPro Hero 7 Black. First up, ease of use. Boom! Seriously, ease of use is the most important part. This could have image quality of an Airy Alexa, but if it's a pain in the butt to use, I just won't bring it with me. Thankfully, it is really important for me to have an intuitive interface that can be changed on the fly. I don't want to be messing around with stuff when I'm on my mountain bike. I just want to set it, go, and be done with it. And my favorite way to accomplish this with action cameras is to have a nice, crisp touchscreen. And one of the things that GoPro continues to crush year after year is their touchscreen interface. No kidding, it is the best on the market. With very little effort, you can see what the mode is, change both the recording frame rates and the resolution, change your field of view, and get back to the action. Like I mentioned earlier, the interface is different than the Hero 6 Black, and I'm not sure if I like it that much yet. I've used this for about 3 days straight now, and it's not bad, but I'm so used to the Hero 6, it's just taking me some getting used to the new Hero 7. It's not bad, it's different. Now, I mean, this isn't a category that I was worried about them nailing because they are the best at it. Yi is pretty close, but they're not to GoPro levels yet. Next up, durability. An action camera could be missing a touchscreen and, you know, be a little more difficult to use, but I would still consider it to be an action camera if it's durable. However, if an action camera isn't durable, it can't take a hit, or it has huge gaping ports open to the elements for all the dust, water, and grime in the world to enter, it is straight up not an action camera. It's just a tiny point and shoot with a terrible fisheye distortion. And again, no one can touch GoPro when it comes to durability. They are still one of the few brands that even has a fully waterproof case design. Of all the problems I've had with certain GoPro cameras, Durability has never been a problem. Action camera companies out there, follow this. This is how an action camera needs to be cased. If I have to put the camera in a case to make it waterproof, then I lose all the audio. If it has open ports, then I can't use it in a gimbal while I'm getting my action on because any little water could brick it. I swear I'm not sponsored by GoPro and I paid for this myself, but I really like what they do with their cases. It's really great. Thirdly, compatibility with GoPro style mounts and accessories. Well, yep. They're still the standard when it comes to action camera accessories, and thankfully this GoPro is shaped like a GoPro. Video over. The only thing I wish GoPro would start doing, and unless it compromises the waterproofness that we talked about, then don't do this at all, is I do wish they had some kind of 1/4 inch tripod mount included on the body itself. I really like being able to easily mount my action cameras to regular camera gear, like the Yi action cameras come with a 1/4 inch tripod mount, but it'd be nice to have. But again, I like the waterproof case more. Fourthly, decent, not perfect image quality. I give a lot of latitude for action cameras in the image quality department. It's really hard to fit a decent sensor with 4K 60 capabilities, good frame rates, and the rest of the features in such a small body. Heat management has got to be a nightmare. But darn it, this GoPro has some good image quality too. And again, I'm not trying for hyperbole, but for outdoor recording, this might replace my big mirrorless cameras like the GH5 you see right there, for anything that I want to do outdoors. They don't do too well indoors. Let's do a quick test of the low light and audio inside of a studio. Okay, and this is the exact same setup that we just saw with the Fuji X-T3, but we're on the GoPro Hero 7 now. So you can kind of see, super wide, but as a bonus, this is handheld right now on the little shorty GoPro tripod. So something that I do want to mention so we're doing this afterwards, but I want to say if you're going to get this camera, be careful of the auto ISO. They set the initial auto ISO up to like 3200 or something like that, and it will ruin all of your footage if you're doing anything in not perfect lighting. So as a way for me to talk to you in the future, make sure you fix your ISO before using the GoPro Hero 7. But as you've also heard while we're doing this, you're seeing the stabilization and the audio, whereas the audio is one of the most improved things in the GoPro Hero 7 Black, right up there with stabilization. It's really great. Okay. You're back to the video, I'm back to editing the video. I am actually impressed with this image quality. Not only am I impressed with the image quality, but something that GoPros generally get beat up on is their audio always sounds muffled, waterproof case. The GoPro Hero 6 made great strides to improve this, but the Hero 7 makes the biggest stride yet. And with both the improved video and audio, I think you could easily turn this into a primary vlogging camera. I mean, it checks all those boxes, except if it had a flip screen. But last and most importantly, as it's the biggest upgrade to the camera, stabilization. While I was disappointed there wasn't any big resolution or frame rate upgrades in the Hero 7, I was beyond excited about the stabilization. Stabilization is my absolute all-time favorite part of action cameras, and I think they are perfectly positioned to be the first kind of camera that doesn't need to be chained to a gimbal. The Hero 6 had really good stabilization, and if the Hero 7 can top that, I might be falling in love. But you know what? I don't want to do this part of the video in the office. Let's head outside and try it in real time in the real world. Whew. Okay, and here we are outdoors doing a real quick GoPro Hero 7 Black vlogging test, where we're just kind of talking at the camera. We're gonna wander around a little bit. You'll notice two things. The image quality, well, you gotta be really careful about the auto ISO settings on the GoPro Hero 7 Black. They are aggressive and you need to tone them down an awful lot. And so it's the morning, the video is gonna be released this afternoon. So I had to come out and shoot some additional footage. I'm actually getting ready to go for a run. But I wanted to come out and make sure you guys knew about it. I wanna make sure you're getting the best video quality out of this thing. So the auto ISO can be your enemy. But the great thing about these GoPros, but like we've mentioned, one of the great things about these GoPros is just how easy they are to pick them up and take them with you. I just love how they just work. The stabilization is fantastic. I mean, you can see it right now. This is currently being handheld. It's not in a gimbal or anything. The stabilization on the Hero 7 is legitimate, and it's just super useful. I really think that the Hero 7 Black is gonna turn into my full-time vlogging camera. I don't really ever vlog. I just do these little tests out here, but this camera just fits so many things in right. The image quality is awesome. The stabilization is next level. You just gotta, the auto ISO, you gotta pare it down. It's set to 1600 or 3200 off the bat. That's way too high. It will ruin your footage. I currently have it set to minimum 100 ISO, maximum 400 ISO, and that seems to be working for me pretty well. Okay, all right, let's do See, look, you can even vlog while running. I really, really like this camera. Okay, I'm going for my run. You guys enjoy the rest of the video. To the run. Whew. And we're back. The stabilization on the GoPro Hero 7 Black is legitimate. There is no two ways about it. I've taken it mountain biking, I've taken it running. This has killed gimbals. Like straight up, I'm off script right now because of how excited I am about this. The Hero 7 Black, I will never put in a gimbal again. The hyper smooth stabilization is some of the best stabilization I have ever seen. And when I showed it to my wife, she's not really a camera person, but when I showed the footage to her of gimbal versus non-gimbal, she couldn't tell the difference. And while some of us that obsess over cameras may probably see the difference a little bit, it's not great enough to warrant bringing another piece of gear. This is incredible. The stabilization, I try not to fall for marketing campaigns too often, but the stabilization on this is incredible. They did not oversell the stabilization in the Hero 7 Black. It is really great. One thing I do want to mention that happened after I started making the video is, if you want to do 4K 60 hyper smooth stabilization, you have to do the day one firmware update to get that. If you just start using this straight out of the box, you cannot do hyper smooth at 4K 60, but if you do the firmware upgrade, it unlocks that. So what, right? So we'll do a more in-depth video on the GoPro Hero 7 Black here in just a little bit. This is more of an initial impressions video as I've only been using this for about 3 or 4 days now. But my initial impression is I am floored at how good this is. You just heard me rant off script for a little bit about how awesome this is. The Hero 7 is amazing. I actually thought GoPros were done. I thought GoPro as a company was coming to an end. You know, at the end of 2017, the early 2018, they had their run-in with their drone business kind of failing. The massive like Hero 4 line with like 7 cameras, and they confused everybody and they stopped really selling stuff. The Hero 5 was okay, the Hero 6 was okay. The Hero 7 is the camera they needed to make because it is good. Again, I don't want to speak in too much hyperbole because it's easy to fall in hyperbole when you get excited about a new piece of kit. But I think the GoPro Hero 7 Black might be legitimately the perfect action camera. For what you get, I think it's worth the price tag. I think it's worth the hype. It is incredible. It's awesome. I'm not sponsored by GoPro. I really like the Hero 7. Thanks for watching.